welcome back to MysteryHQ. In this video we are ranking every ammo mode in BO7 Zombies, including the best augments you should be using and which enemies they are strong against. Some of these ammo modes are insanely powerful, while others are not worth using at all. Before we start though, we need to talk about Elemental Pop, because one specific augment, Rainbow Pop, completely changes how ammo modes work. Normally you want to match the correct element to an enemy weakness. But with Rainbow Pop, any ammo mode can trigger every elemental effect, meaning you can deal effective elemental damage to every enemy type with just one ammo mode. Alright, but now let's start with the worst ammo mode. Shatter Blast is unfortunately the weakest ammo mode in the game, but there's one situation where it actually becomes extremely useful. First, let's talk about the major augment, Blast Shield. When Shatter Blast activates, you gain about 47% damage resistance for a few seconds, which can help if you are surrounded. The explosion itself rarely kills many zombies, so the real value here is that temporary survivability, and not even the Blast Zone minor augment can help here. But that's not the main reason you should be using Shatter Blast. The real reason is a minor augment called Blast Through. Blast Through increases the damage your weapon deals through the armor while Shatter Blast is equipped, and that becomes incredibly useful during the Astra Malorum boss fight against Calteris. In that fight, you constantly need to break the boss's armor, so running Shatter Blast with the Blast Through makes removing the armor much easier. So if you are attempting the Easter egg or replaying the boss fight on Astra Malorum, this is the only situation where I would say please use Shatter Blast. And since we are talking about the fight, on screen right now you will see a few weapon build codes I recommend using to beat Calteris very easily. Next we have Shadow Rift. This ammo mode gives your bullets shadow damage, and each shot has a chance to spawn a small black hole that warps enemies away instantly. With the addition of Paradox Junction, the new Red Hunt enemies and toxic zombies in the Relic Trials in Curse mode are weak against this ammo mode. With the build shown on the screen, it actually becomes surprisingly useful. The most important augment here is the major augment, Big Game, which allows Shadow Rift to warp elite enemies as well, dealing a huge amount of damage to them. Pair that with the Haste minor augment to reduce the cooldown, and Supermassive to pull in more normal zombies with each black hole. With this setup, Shadow Rift becomes a very strong elite killing tool. And if you combine it with Elemental Pop and the Rainbow Pop augment, it becomes even stronger because your weapon can still trigger the other elemental effects as well. The only reason Shadow Rift is ranked this low is because it requires Elemental Pop to reach its full potential, plus the enemies that are weak against Shadow Rift are already very easy to kill. Next up is Cryo Freeze. This ammo mode is one of the best options for camo grinding, and it also has an elemental weakness against a specific enemy. That enemy is Uber Klaus, and of course the Klaus core. Because of that, Cryo Freeze is actually the best possible ammo mode to run on Mars Survival when you are dealing with those enemies. For the best setup, you should use the Ice Cloud Major Augment. This gives you a chance for enemies that die while frozen to leave behind a cloud that slows other zombies, helping you control large groups more easily. To increase its effectiveness, pair that with the minor augments Freezer Burn, which increases the damage against frozen enemies, and Liquid Nitrogen, which allows Cryo Freeze to activate more frequently. Cryo Freeze can also be quite effective against other elite enemies, but to really make it work, you will want to pair it with Rainbow Pop. That way you benefit not only from the elemental effects, but also from Freezer Burn's increased damage against frozen targets. So overall, Cryo Freeze is a solid ammo mode, especially in the right situations, but the next ammo modes will outperform it even if only slightly. Next we have Lightman, and this ammo mode actually serves a completely different purpose compared to the others. Instead of focusing on killing zombies, specials or elites, Lightman is primarily used for healing. With the launch of BO7 Zombies, a new mechanic was introduced called Overheal, which allows you to gain up to 100 extra health above your normal health limit. With the right augments, Lightman lets you take full advantage of that mechanic. So this ammo mode is great if you want to support focus setup, or if you don't want elemental effects stealing your kills while you are camo grinding. Now, technically there are some enemies that are weak to Lightman, the Ravagers and the Doppelghasts that start spawning after round 40 in certain modes. But those enemies are already fairly easy to deal with, so the weakness usually doesn't make a big difference. To use a Lightman at its full potential, you should run Booster Shot as the major augment. This allows the healing lift to overcharge your health, and then add extra strength as the minor augment, letting you reach that full 100 HP overheal bonus. And finally, use Express Remedy ability, which increases the distance that the healing glyph can travel towards you. That way, even if you are slightly farther away, the glyph can still save you or overcharge your health. Overall, I think Lightman is a very strong support ammo mod. Next, we have Deadwire. Even though it currently doesn't deal elemental damage to any enemy, it's surprisingly one of the best ammo mods for controlling and clearing normal zombies. With the build shown on the screen, Deadwire can actually become so powerful to wipe out entire hordes and sometimes even full rounds with only one bullet. To get the most out of Deadwire, you should use Chain Lightning as the major augment. This allows the electricity to jump between multiple zombies, creating a chain reaction that stuns larger groups. Then pair that with the Aftershock minor augment to increase the chain effect and high voltage to boost the electrical damage. With this setup, once Deadwire activates, the electricity spreads through the entire horde, stunning and killing multiple zombies at once. If you group zombies together and trigger Deadwire in the tight horde, the chain reaction can spread through nearly the entire horde like I said and kill all of them. Also, this damage scales with the rounds, so no matter what round you are on, it's going to be just still as effective. But if you want to increase the damage even more, use double standard on your double tapper, as that also further increases the shock damage. Next we have Fireworks. In terms of usage, this ammo mod is very similar to Deadwire. There are currently no enemies in the game that are weak to it, but its main purpose is to wipe out large hordes of zombies extremely quickly. This is also my go-to ammo mod for camo grinding, especially when using weaker weapons. The reason is that every zombie killed by the Fireworks explosion still counts as a weapon kill, meaning all those eliminations still progress your weapon camos. It can even help during challenges like the melee only Dark Ops challenge, since the explosion damage scales with the round and still counts towards your knife eliminations. To get the most out of Fireworks, use Star Burst as the major augment. This causes the explosion to trigger immediately and send flares through enemies in every direction, creating a powerful area of effect blast. Then pair that with Starlight and high yield minor augments. Starlight increases the explosion radius, while high yield launches additional flares, which means more zombies get hit. The best way to use this ammo mod is to group up a large horde of zombies together and lead them into the explosion. Next up we have Napalm Burst. Let's start with the best augment setup and then I will explain why this is my second favorite ammo mod. For the build, you should use Firebomb as the major augment paired with Incendiary and Backdraft as the minor augments. Normally, Napalm Burst simply ignites zombies when it activates, and thanks to the minor augments, that fire can spread to nearby enemies over a larger radius. But the burn damage alone isn't enough to kill zombies very quickly. That's where the Firebomb major augment becomes incredibly powerful. With Firebomb, any zombie that dies while burning explodes, damaging nearby enemies and spreading the fire even further. So once the fire spreads through the group, one explosion can trigger another, which then ignites more zombies and can cause even more explosions. This creates a chain reaction that can wipe out entire hordes, sometimes even a full round from a fire of a single bullet. It does kill enemies a little slower than the previous ammo mods, but the chain reaction potential makes it extremely powerful on any round. On top of that, Napalm Burst is also great against several enemies, including the Zersa bears on Ashes and the Uber Klaus. And finally, my number one pick is Brain Rot. For the best setup, I recommend using Caustic Fumes as the major augment. This causes turned enemies to release a large toxic cloud that damages nearby enemies. Then pair that with Super Serum and Extension minor augments. Super Serum increases the damage of that toxic cloud, melting a group of zombies much faster. And with Extension, this cloud stays around longer. What makes Brain Rot super powerful is that you don't need to lead zombies into any effects or wait for damage. You simply shoot into a horde, one zombie becomes turned, and it runs through the entire group, spreading toxic damage everywhere, slowly tearing the entire horde apart. Black Ops 7 Zombies also added a very helpful quality of life change to Brain Rot. If there's only one zombie left, a brain rotted enemy can no longer target it. This prevents you from accidentally ending the round, which is extremely useful during solo Easter egg runs. Even though the Caustic Fumes cloud can still kill the final zombie, so just pay attention to that. But Brain Rot is also good against a few enemies. It deals increased damage to the Zersa bears, Shock Mimics, and interestingly even Oscar's Flying Saucer. So against those enemies, you will deal 50% more damage. Overall, Brain Rot combines horde clearing, passive damage, and enemy weaknesses, which is why in my opinion this is the best ammo mod in Black Ops 7 Zombies. And that's everything you need to know about the best ammo mods and augments. I also created this cheat sheet image showing every enemy and their elemental weaknesses, which you can download from the description. If this guide helped you out, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Next I'm going to be making a video just like this for all field upgrades, so keep an eye out for that. And if you want another guide right now, you can check out my video covering every single perk in the Black Ops 7 Zombies. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.